Hurricane Erin. All right, off the East Coast, impacts are starting to ramp up today, and we are expecting some very large waves, some huge swell, coastal flooding, beach erosion, and some very dangerous rip currents in the days ahead.
Yeah, we're even getting a heads up. The beaches are already closing up and down the East Coast. The latest is in from the National Hurricane Center as of the 5 a.m. advisory, and all eyes are on Hurricane Erin as it passes by the Bahamas. It's a Cat 3 hurricane and continues to grow physically in size as it's pushing to the north. There is a live look at the Bahamas right now. Temperatures are warm with a feel-like temperature of 99. We got that storm.
A little steamy.
You know, passing just to the east.
Yeah.
So the Bahamas will actually fare much better than the Turks and Caicos and also the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah, no kidding. Threading between the United States and right in through Bermuda as we go through the days ahead. But man, what a history Erin has had and continues as we go through the day today. Here's the latest advisory Britta was just talking about. We still have the winds at 115 miles per hour, still Category 3 storm. The movement slowing to 7 miles per hour. Doesn't look all that great when you look at it, but nonetheless, it is still there. And what has changed from the earlier advisories is the winds have come down 5 miles. The pressure also is from 955 to 953, so about 2-point drop there. It's still moving at 7 miles per hour. Britta is a slow-moving system, but still Cat 3, it's just west of the Bahamas, if you will.
And still in that northwest trajectory, so we're moving it away from land. Here's a look at the history of Erin, the wind speeds and the pressure. So again, noticing that the pressure is coming up, the winds are going down. That relationship, of course, we hope continues. Here's a look at the water temps, though. We're in the mid-80s. There is a lot of jet fuel for the storm to fuel off of, and so we are going to keep this a powerful major hurricane because of those water temperatures. As we take a look at Friday morning, that's when we start to see the winds decrease down to 105. So again, we're going to have a major hurricane on our hands, at least for the next 24 hours. Here's a look at the current watches and warnings. Turks and Caicos still under a tropical storm warning. Again, the Bahamas are going to have a much easier time than the Turks and Caicos. With that said, we still have winds that are gusting above 20, 25 miles per hour. We do have true bona fide tropical storm conditions being reported on several buoys that are outside of really the core of Erin. The wind field extends 230 miles from the center. Tropical storm force winds. Yeah. So that's a trend that's going to continue. As you lift these storms higher up in latitude, further to the north, you see a growth in that wind field. And so that's going to be a huge player.
And all of that energy is going into the ocean as well. So that's how we will feel the effects of this. Look at this enhanced view, a 3D version of it. The southern side looks pretty impressive. Not all that impressive on the northern side, but still holding strong as we take a look at what's going to happen across the eastern seaboard. In fact, the big question on everyone's mind is how will this impact the United States mainland? Got that question this morning, Britta, when we were walking out or walking into work, said, hey, is this going to miss the U.S.? And the answer is yes, as far as a landfall. The answer is the impacts are still going to affect us. That does include deadly rip currents. We've got some beaches that are already closed. You're looking at Virginia Beach, Virginia right now. Several of the sets will continue to come on in. In fact, we watch closely because tropical storm and storm surge is watches up, as well as storm surge watch for parts of the Carolina coast. Right through Hatteras, parts of Dare County have already been shut down and evacuated since yesterday as well. When we take a look at what's been going on there, the wind field, as you were talking about, Britta, it's lifting to the north, starts to expand. It looks like even a bigger monster storm, right? And all of that energy is going somewhere into the water. The bigger the storm, the more the energy you get, the more effects you have on the U.S. mainland and Bermuda, to a sense.
You also have to give credit to this storm that this was a Cat 5.
Absolutely.
So when you talk about wave energy and swell, that integrity stays in place despite the fact that this is a storm that's going to be going down in category, down in strength as it lifts to the north. It has that history of being a Cat 5, and that energy is already placed into the water heading towards land. There's a look at the tropical storm watch that's been triggered for coastal areas of North Carolina. Mandatory evacuations for visitors started yesterday for locals. I believe it starts at 10 a.m. this morning for Hatteras Island.
Right, and when we think about all that's been going on up and down the Jersey Shore, we're already getting some beach closures. You're going to watch for that possibly all the way up into New England. When we take a look at those, the wave rather, and the ocean just really churning up. When you're looking at that flow coming in as we go through Thursday morning, notice the flow and the drag of the water. That is going to hit portions of the southern portions of the inlet areas. Anyone who is on that southern side there, all of that water is getting pushed up. So at high tide specifically, especially in the morning and the evening, a couple of them during the day, you're going to feel that push on your side of North Carolina, of the Cape.
We do have a storm surge watch in effect. This is a big part of why evacuation orders have been ordered for certain parts of the Outer Banks, and heed those warnings if you're included in it. With the wave energy and also that strong onshore push, we're going to have inundation, possibly up to 4 feet for the Outer Banks. And you'll notice, to Craig's point, the inland areas, not really inland for what you would think, but on the sound versus the ocean, you're going to have water piling up in these areas as well. You run from the water and you hide from the wind. So if you've been asked to leave in coastal areas of North Carolina, please make sure that you do so. Now, as we lift this storm farther to the north, the mid-Atlantic, the northeast, yes, we are going to feel impacts as well. Not only the wind, but also the wave heights. In fact, we already have beaches up and down the Jersey Shore that are calling it for the rest of the week. They're just not going to let people in the water. So let's go ahead and take a look outside. This is kind of a cool time lapse from Atlantic City on Monday. Some showers streaming on by. You can see the jetty system, and then, of course, some rocky waves. Well, that is going to be a calm look at Atlantic City by the time we get to Thursday. So for the Jersey Shore, it looks like the peak is going to be Thursday. That's a live look at Ocean City, Maryland, which will also be impacted by this setup. You just can't have a huge hurricane right offshore by, a couple hundred miles and not have this big coastal impact. We'll start things off with our exclusive Fox model around Thursday evening. Notice the positioning of the storm. Erin's eye is still, down across the Carolinas, just offset out into the open water. This is actually when we'll see the peak wave heights for the Jersey Shore, Delaware, and parts of the Delmarva. So again, you don't have to have the eye of the hurricane right offshore to create these powerful waves. Now, we could see some outer rain bands, especially on Thursday, scraping places like the Jersey Shore and Delaware. But it's really the wave action that's going to be a bigger player than these outer rain bands. That's just going to be a rain chance, which you can see highlighted here. The action that's popping up for Thursday, that is directly because of the outer rain bands of Erin. You'll also notice it's going to be rather cool. This is a straight north wind for the northeast and the mid-Atlantic, so that's naturally going to bring in cooler temperatures.
Yeah, and less humidity as well. Taking a look at some of the wind gusts that we expect, especially closer to the coast. Some of those gusts, though, 20 miles per hour or so, could reach inland spots away from the coast. But when you're talking about coastal communities having a huge impact by that, look at Nantucket as well, just kind of sticking out there. Going to feel the effects of this. That drag will also push some of that water into places like Long Island Sound. So watch for that closely. The rip current threat is there, and these are very dangerous. We've already had a rough summer. It happens every year, but especially this year. And a lot of the beaches, to your point, Britta, already saying no people in the water. Please listen to those warnings. There's a reason for it.
Especially with high surf advisories that extend all the way through the Cape. Here's a look at current wave heights. So already off of the Delaware beaches, we have 8-foot waves. And we're not even to the peak of this yet. For the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, the largest waves will be arriving late on Thursday.